something inherently romantic about boarding a ship bound for the open seas, with their endless vistas, dazzling sunsets, and alluring ports of call. To say nothing of the nights spent dining, dancing, and strolling the deck under vast and starry skies. But that's just the baseline romance you can expect. Cruise lines are upping the ante on love with all kinds of programming. And as you'll soon hear, some are even achieving world records in the process. Here to share her insights, both professional and deeply personal, is Connie Schmit, Manager of Group Services Hotel Operations for Princess Cruises, aka the Love Boat, where she also manages the Princess Perfect Weddings program. Connie Schmit, welcome to Well Traveled with AAA.
Thanks, Abby. Happy to be here.
And given that this is an episode dedicated to love and romance on cruise ships, I'd love to open with the story of how you and your husband met, if we could.
Of course, I'll have to share. My husband and I actually met on the Emerald Princess. This was back in 2012. And at that time, we were both shipboard officers working on board. And by the way, life at sea is such a unique experience. You wake up in a different part of paradise every day. You work alongside people from all over the world, and you create this very incredibly deep connection in a very short time. And some friendships last, forever, even if you don't see each other again for years. And something like that happened. So after the Emerald Princess, we met again a year later, that on the Crown Princess this time, sailing the Norwegian fjords. It was my first time there. The itinerary was just unforgettable. We would go on bike rides through these very charming little villages, pick fresh berries at local markets, take picnic breaks with these, stunning fjord views as our backdrop. And by the end of that contract, we were best friends, and we've been together ever since. And it's funny how travel has always been such a big part of our story. And probably that's why working in the cruise industry, especially with Princess, like you said, the Love Boat, so perfect for us. And now we both work in the corporate office, but we still get to travel a lot, and we absolutely love it.
So, in keeping with the theme of cruises and marriage, could you tell our listeners about their own options for planning or attending a wedding on board?
Absolutely. A wedding at sea is truly a one-of-a-kind experience. Princess is one of the few cruise lines that offers legal weddings at sea. They are officiated by the ship's captain. And since these ceremonies take place in international waters, they are recognized internationally under the ship's flag state, which makes it a very seamless process for couples from different parts of the world. And now one unique detail, you'll get the exact latitude and longitude of where you got married. Your wedding location is as unique as the moment itself. So couples have 2 dedicated wedding coordinators, one before the cruise who helps with all the details and the planning, and one on board sailing with the couples who takes care of all the details so they can focus and enjoy their big day. And it can be as intimate as they want or as grand as they would love. From the ceremony decor to live music, fresh florals, and even professional photography, everything is designed to create this, very timeless and elegant feeling.
Discover your next romantic travel experience with the help of a AAA travel agent. Book at AAA and enjoy exclusive member benefits and unbeatable value. Find a AAA travel agent by visiting AAA.com/travel. How far in advance does a cruise line need to know if you want to hold a wedding on board? Is there any such thing as a spontaneous ceremony?
Well, it's always great to plan ahead. Ideally, I would say 6 months to a year, but we've had couples book their weddings just weeks before sailing. The main thing is availability, and venues and dates can fill up pretty quickly. Earlier, I mentioned legal weddings, but we also offer symbolic ceremonies. And if you're looking for something a bit more flexible, and if you're feeling spontaneous and decide, well, this is the perfect place to say I do. Don't hold back. We can arrange a meaningful, symbolic ceremony, even if it's last minute.
Oh,
I
great.
actually remember there was a lovely couple who was on board one of our ships and decided to take things to the next level. And our onboard events coordinator took care of everything. And within 2 days, they were happily ever after.
Oh, that's so great. And are you seeing a lot of people taking the destination wedding concept to the high seas? So it becomes basically a multiple destination wedding on a cruise. And if so, how does that experience tend to unfold for everyone?
Absolutely. Yeah. More and more couples are embracing the idea of a multiple destination wedding at sea, where the celebration doesn't just stop at one place. It's the ultimate way to combine a wedding and a honeymoon into one seamless, adventure filled experience. A travel agent plays, of course, a big role in helping coordinate logistics for all guests, group bookings, shore excursions. Because let's be honest, your wedding party is going to want some fun along the way.
Right.
Meanwhile, our Princess Perfect weddings team takes care of every little detail of your ceremony and your receptions. They ensure that your dream isn't just a vision and it becomes a reality. Let's say you need a live musician to serenade you as you walk down the aisle. Done.
Uh-huh.
Want to wake up to a private breakfast with an Alaskan glacier in the backdrop? We got that covered.
Uh-huh.
One couple even requested a champagne day at our spa for the bride and her bridesmaids, and while sailing between the Caribbean islands. And yeah, absolutely, we made that happen, and we turned that wedding into a week full of celebrations.
Getting ready to travel? Make sure you and your travel investment are protected with travel insurance so you can do more and worry less. For more information, visit AAA.com/travel insurance. It sounds like the couple's choices are pretty customizable. Is that across all of the considerations that would go into a wedding, like venue, decor, officiant, music, cake, etc.?
Very, very customizable. Every wedding should feel as unique as the couple getting married, and a wedding at sea is no exception. Couples can choose from a beautifully and elegantly decorated indoor lounge to a breathtaking open deck ceremony with endless ocean views, of course.
Uh-huh.
Some couples may choose an intimate champagne toast, while others will go all out with a cocktail hour, live music, fresh flower, and of course, a gorgeous cake. I remember a couple who wanted their celebration to blend perfectly well with the scenery, and they were in the Caribbean. So
Uh-huh.
they planned a champagne reception morning when we arrived in Grand Cayman, and it was absolutely perfect. Turquoise waters, meeting the white sand, and that calm, peaceful vibe of the Cayman Islands. Beautiful. And for those looking to elevate the celebration, some couples may even choose to reserve an entire specialty restaurant for their private reception. And they can this way transform their reception into their own exclusive dining experience. It's all about crafting a celebration that reflects their love story.
And of course, weddings are just one kind of romantic celebration you can have on board. So let's talk about some of the others, because cruise ships see a lot of proposals too, right?
Absolutely. Oh my God, my favorite topic, proposals.
Yeah.
Pure magic. Yeah, there's just something magical about, the setting, the ocean, the sunset from your balcony. It makes those moments truly unforgettable. And I love seeing the emails fly back and forth between our shoreside and onboard teams, secretly planning the perfect proposals. So coordinators go to great lengths to make it seamless. Sneaking musicians through back doors, scattering rose petals at just the right time, or even setting up a surprise celebration cake or sparkling wine in the couple's room before they arrive. And the best part, some couples even come back to say, I do on board. This turns their perfect proposal into a forever love story.
So you've had people successfully propose on board and then come back to get married on board.
Of course we do.
And what are some of the most over-the-top proposals that you've seen?
Well, one of my all-time favorite stories was a proposal during movies Under the Stars. So the bride to be had no idea until a message popped up on the big screen. And her partner took her hand, got down on one knee, and suddenly the entire deck knew what was happening and everybody was cheering. It was magical.
Well, for people who haven't experienced movies under the stars, maybe you could share a bit about that with listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Movies Under the Stars is an outdoor movie area. It's by the pool. It's on the top deck of all our ships, and guests get to experience movies, concerts on a large screen under the sky.
Are you enjoying Well Traveled with AAA? Subscribe to this podcast today and share your thoughts on ratings and reviews. If we keep following the life cycle of a romance past the proposal and wedding stages, are vow renewals popular on board too?
They are. They're incredibly popular. And we even hold the Guinness World Record for the largest vow renewal at sea. It was a truly historic moment. So we had more than 1,400 couples renew their vows together. And this was across multiple locations. There were 3 ships, the Royal, the Regal, and the Crown Princess. And this ceremony was led by our captains and surrounded by the ocean, of course. There was a couple that celebrated, I believe, 64 years together.
Aww.
Yeah, for many couples, a vow renewal is a way to, honor a milestone anniversary, a meaningful journey together, or simply to say, I'll do it all over again. And just like weddings, these ceremonies can be as intimate or as grand as couple envisions, whether it's a quiet exchange of vows or a lively celebration with their family and friends. And in fact, one of our most cherished traditions is our Valentine's renewal of love in the piazza. This happens every year, and our couples gather in the heart of the ship, surrounded by the music and the flowing champagne. And to make the event even more special, we hold a friendly contest between ships for the most creative and romantically decorated piazza. And our crew never fails to amaze us. Their passion, their creativity, it's a celebration that reminds us all that love only grows stronger with time.
And what are some of the details that come when ships are competing with each other to create the most romantic setting for vow renewals? What are the lengths that they'll go to?
There are flowers, creations. Sometimes there are carvings, arches.
And how about if you could take us back to the day that created the world record for most vow renewals at once? What did that celebration look like? And you mentioned that it was happening across 3 ships. Where were those ships? What kind of celebrations were happening on board? Was it sort of simultaneous renewing of vows among all of the couples? What did it look like?
There were couples of all ages. Some of them were very elegantly dressed with their boutonnieres and their flower bouquets. Some others showed up there last minute. They just spontaneously decided to take part in this historic moment. They wore their best shirts or their casual Caribbean clothing, and everybody was just really in a great celebratory mood.
And was there dancing? Was there music? Was there food, champagne?
Champagne flowing, music, live celebrations, flowers, of course. There were wedding cakes, all of the above.
Ready to set sail on your own cruise vacation? Whether it's a romantic ocean cruise, an intimate river cruise, or an exciting expedition to a wild and natural destination, AAA can help you book the best option for you. Visit AAA.com/travel. So needless to say, you don't need to be proposing or getting married or renewing your vows to get swept up in the romance of a ship, especially in certain ports of call. So, in your experience, what are some of the most amazingly romantic cruise destinations?
Our most popular destinations with couples are the Caribbean islands and Alaska, but there are some truly, truly hidden gems. Like, for example, I was talking about the Norwegian fjords earlier, and I feel there is something truly magical about the calm of the fjords. And when you're standing on the deck, surrounded by those towering cliffs and the cascading waterfalls, it's like time just stands still. Tromsø, up north of the Arctic Circle, is especially breathtaking. In the summer, the midnight sun keeps the sky bright, and in winter, it's the northern lights that paint the sky with color.
Yeah.
Imagine being there, wrapped up together, watching the Arctic Circle. I'll never forget standing on one of the top decks, gazing out and thinking, we are on the edge of the world.
Yeah, yeah. And how about places like Venice, or some of the kind of traditionally most romantic ports of call in Europe?
Absolutely. There is something undeniably romantic about getting lost in Venice. Everyone talks about gondola rides, and yes, they're magical. But in my experience, you have to take a slow stroll through the quieter streets, away from the crowds, find a little cafe, order an espresso, and the cornetto.
Uh-huh.
The cornetto is similar to a croissant, but with a very unique sweetness. And just enjoy the moment. Venice is a city, in my opinion, best experienced without a plan.
You're taking us to another topic, which is once you're on shore in some of these ports, do you have any secret spots you like to send couples to? And maybe a particularly romantic restaurant or museum or selfie spot?
Absolutely. Well, some places feel like they were made for romance. Copenhagen in Denmark, for instance, is actually also called the Venice of the North. Copenhagen is full of charming canals and picture perfect streets. One of my favorite things to do here is what the locals do: pick up a glass of wine from your favorite cafe or restaurant and find a cozy spot by the water to soak in the golden light of the afternoon. And if you got some time, especially if your cruise starts or finishes in Copenhagen, visit the Tivoli Gardens. This is definitely a place you don't want to miss. It's not just an amusement park, it's kind of a whole experience. If you're there in the evenings, they have this amazing light show that is one of a kind. And honestly, it's the perfect way to wrap up a day in this vibrant city.
And with all of that in mind, what does well-traveled mean to you?
Well-traveled. Well, to me, being well-traveled isn't just about how many places you visited. It's more about how deeply you experience them. It's tasting the local flavors and learning the stories behind the culture, connecting with people, and embracing the unexpected. And the cruise is such a great way to explore because you get to visit so many places in one trip, but still have enough time to really soak in each destination. And if you let yourself fully dive into the experience, I honestly think you'll come back feeling transformed. And whether you're celebrating love or chasing adventure, it's the memories that you make along the way what make this travel so special.
Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Abby. Thanks for having me.
You can find all of our interviews with other travel experts from around the world on the Well Traveled with AAA feed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We hope you'll rate us or leave a comment and let us know what you think. I'm Abby Kozolczyk. Thanks for listening.